an amount of air power in Gaza that we haven't seen really since the early stages of the war, when that was directed more to northern Gaza. Why now? Why these airstrikes, these intensified airstrikes at this point?
Well, in the northern side of the Gaza Strip, there's a guerrilla warfare. There are no battalions, so to speak, of Hamas, but there's still Hamas terrorists hiding underground, coming up and carrying within small units. So the idea is to a shock and awe type thing, where they don't expect, so they don't hide underneath, very low, and so you target all the areas where they could possibly be and hit them at the same time, hoping that they come up for air, so to speak, or to see what's going on. So this is a kind of a surprise. I wouldn't make too much of it. It's a tactical move that tries to suppress Hamas in northern Gaza. But this type of warfare it's an attrition warfare and guerrilla warfare. It'll go on for the foreseeable future.
Right.
So it's not a major move.
Also talking about strikes closer to the Egyptian border, intention to the Philadelphia corridor, so close to that border with Egypt. Can Israel even carry out those kind of strikes without in some way coordinating or informing the Egyptian authorities?
Well, we know that the chief of staff and the chief of the Shabak were visiting Cairo a few days ago, actually last week. So I expect that they would actually have some kind of a coordination with the Egyptians on the type of targets and the type of munition to be used against Hamas in certain areas. So I would tend to think that this is coordinated, and we're not going to surprise the Egyptians. There's too much at stake there.
All right, let's move to the busy day in the sky, busy weekend in the skies above Gaza, because along with those Israeli Air Force operations and strikes, you had this convoy of U.S. planes together with the Jordanian Air Force dropping humanitarian aid into Gaza. Let's talk about the U.S. 38,000 prepared meals, but I don't know actually if that is more of a symbolic thing, Danny, or what the U.S. is trying to accomplish here with this kind of operation. With the first time we've seen this kind of operation from the U.S.
Right. Well, I think, it's not without context, and the context is, again, this, I would say, fiasco of the 100 Palestinian dead in the stampeding over the convoy of humanitarian aid. I think the Americans were quite upset, quite rattled, and certainly there was a lot of backlash and rhetorical backlash to the administration and Biden himself from his own supporters. So I think that they had to do it in order to alleviate any pressure from within, and also to show that American weapons or Americans here in the Middle East not only kill Arabs, they also save Arabs. And this is something that for the long run is going to serve them well.
Well, save the population, but realistically, how effective can airdrops be in getting the amount of aid that's needed for the civilian Palestinians in Gaza?
Well, in this particular case, they dropped, as you mentioned, food rations, actually, that are easily taken from hangars, logistic hangars, which it's an operation can be carried out within 24 hours, 48 hours, rather than flour or that kind of thing that is more difficult to gather.
That's heavy, a lot heavier.
So there's a symbolic issue here, and it goes to show that there's a lot more that could be dropped. So it's a lot more than nothing. That's obvious. And this can be repeated. A lot of planes, Jordanians and Americans. So I think for the simple Gazans, maybe it's a ray of hope.